We're going again.
Great.
Hey, who am I talking with?
Yeah, I'm John Gilmartin. I'm the CEO of a company called Klyant Legal Accounting Software.
And from where? Dublin?
Dublin, Ireland. We're out of Dublin, Ireland.
Not all bad. And so I feel some affinity based on the name, but my first law job was in County Clare in Ennis. And I understand you think that Ignatius Houlihan and Sons, which may be absolutely. Michael Houlihan or Houlihan and Sons, might still be a customer.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I've got to go and double check. But I think in terms of Ennis has always been good to us. So we've got a few firms down in Ennis,
I can guarantee you when I was there, we didn't have any computers going on.
I bet not.
In fact, behind the receptionist desk was this big machine, and it had like butcher paper on it. And I'm going, okay, what's that for?
Yeah.
Well, because when the telephone company goes on strike and we don't have any telephones, then we do all the communications based on this teletype machine. That's just
they're very innovative in Ennis. you know, that's the things.
That was the cutting edge of technology.
Tech capital now, you see.
Probably things like that.
Holding us back now, you see.
There's probably things like that made the EU want to invest in Ennis. You know, as a tech capital.
Invest in Ireland. Yeah, absolutely. It's always going on.
So, what do you guys do?
So we're a complete web-based legal accounting application designed specifically for law firms. So let's point to make it just kind of to explain it is that we remove the need to manipulate general accounting systems in order to cater properly for the management of trust money as well as the operating money. So we do all of that in one system.
So competitor to you is the guy that has a business out of North Carolina. I can't even think of the name of it, Trust something or whatever. I met him last year or something.
So I met those guys, so those guys over at TrustBlock. So those guys, again, concentrate specifically on like the reconciliation of trust accounts. I guess we're different insofar as that.
The whole accounting system.
More in terms of kind of our kind of direct competitors, or as an alternative would be a QuickBooks.
QuickBooks, okay.
So we're like a replacement to a QuickBooks. So our USP would be that, look, we'll do everything in the QuickBooks, but we'll also properly manage your trust account.
So you told me already you're a lawyer.
Yes, well, former lawyer, but hold on to the fact that I'm a lawyer.
But
you're never not a lawyer if you qualify.
That's what I tell people. I'm a lawyer.
Yeah,
I don't have to do the same things that other lawyers do, and they don't have to do the same things I do. I mean, hell, if you think most of the lawyers that you worked with, do you think they would want to do what you're doing?
No, absolutely not. No. That's because they're sensible.
Come to the United States and meet a whole bunch of people you've never met before and kind of make up things as you go to some extent and how you're dealing with people and how you service them.
Of course.
I mean, so when you went to law school, what did you want to do?
Genuinely, I wanted to practice law, and that was the real genuine passion for it. But I think I was always going to build a business, and so what my kind of thinking was very early on into even pre-qualification, I knew I'd be setting up my own firm at some point, and that was my thinking at that stage. So in many ways kind of a hammer with looking for that nail to kind of to hit in terms of kind of business.
My dad used to tell me all the time over dinner, he'd be telling us, nothing like owning your own show. You got to own your own show. You got to run your own business. And I kept thinking, what does he mean? I mean, I need to get a job.
That's exactly.
But what did your dad do?
Well, my dad was also an entrepreneur, and actually, funny enough, in terms of advice, it's funny you should say that in terms of what dads say, and actually, it's really rung true. Kind of made that point is that once you do build your own business, it's always going to be hard to go back, or certainly go back to where you can't influence decisions, or you're not kind of sitting there in terms of it. And I certainly do have that feeling. I do love that feeling of being able to grow something and work with kind of a great team to kind of build something kind of special and kind of be hopefully heading that up and heading it in the right direction.
Yeah, I mean, and you can't. I mean, my previous company was acquired by LexisNexis. So now all of a sudden I'm inside this thing, and it was great that the person told me, hey, don't move your whole family from Seattle back to New Jersey until you find out what corporate America is like. And I'm thinking, oh, it's going to be great. You guys got budgets. We'll be able to get stuff done overnight. Boy. I had no open experience, and I could not go back again. I had to go home, go back to the garage and figure out the next.
It's agility, isn't it? And it's just knowing that you can make a call and see it happen.
Yeah, and to do it very quickly. When did you get involved with this company? How did that all come about?
So I was practicing over in Bristol. My dad had a company.
Bristol's in the UK.
Bristol's in the United Kingdom. Yeah, that's where I qualified. So I did my primary degree in Dublin in Ireland, and then went over to law school.
Where's Bristol located for people that are
southwest of the UK? So if people know where Wales is on the map, it's
down from there,
just in England, just before you go over to Cardiff. So southwest, southwest of the UK, cider country is what we're going to call it over there. Great town, absolutely adore it. But remind me of your question.
How did you get started in this? When you're in Bristol practicing law, I mean, how all of a sudden
practicing law? Kind of, as I say, grew up around entrepreneurial family. My dad had always been in business. He was always involved in actually supplying everything from kind of office supplies to stationery to printing services to ultimately computers and tech and then software, reselling into the legal industry. And they had a very successful business doing that out of Dublin. So that was there. He was he'd taken on another partner, and they made some various different decisions. But anyway, a partner had come on the tech side, and they thought they'd build some software, and there was an opportunity to buy out another company coming up, very small software company that had about 100 firms out of Ireland. It was all happening around that time, and there was also an opportunity essentially for Dad's partner at the time for someone to kind of buy him out. He was a developer who wanted to move on to something else, and enter me. A very short conversation one day, just talking as dads and sons do about what I was thinking, and saying, well, look, I really kind of keen to kind of think about setting up this firm or doing it as quickly as possible. And we were having the conversation, saying, well, look, why don't you think about doing this, And I did. So I got involved, bought him out, and the first thing we did was buy out that other company, which sounds bigger than it was. It was a very small business, about 100 firms, but very low kind of license fees, and we did that. And
how long ago was that?
Kicked on. That's now just over 9 years ago. Yeah.
Oh.
So we did that. Built up that in Ireland, kind of went through the whole recession and all that, did a great job in terms of maintaining stability and growth during that period, all building up to the vision that kind of developed, of course, over time. But we start building Klyant in late 2015, mid 2015, and been building that. So the 2 or 3 years kind of prior to that was all building up and trying to work out and validate. And we saw this huge gap globally, really, that in terms of kind of accounts technology and solving that properly using next generation technology. So we set out in that journey and mission, and that's what's led us to having a chat with you today.
Yeah,
Kevin.
You have a family?
I do indeed, yeah, wife, 2 kids, so
So does she think you're nuts?
Yeah, she thinks I'm absolutely insane. She knew that the day I met her, though, so that's okay. No, she's been very good and supportive, but have to say that, especially when I'm on camera.
No,
she's been brilliant, and it is. And if you don't have that, it's
as you're an entrepreneur in the middle of a company, I mean, it's the whole family's in it. Because you're feeling it all the time. Even if you're out coaching the kids or something, in the back of your mind, you're thinking about something.
And I'm Irish, so I'm talking about it as well. There's a lot of that.
The rest of the parents may be having a beer, talking about nothing because they're working for the state. You're thinking about, I'm working for me.
I got to meet payroll. No, that's it. That's the reality of building a business that you want to become a fast growth business.
So what's your thinking going on as far as, okay, we're in Ireland, we've made good penetration there, we got a good customer base, we're doing some work in the UK now you're in the States. What's your thinking as far as the States?
I think it's a huge opportunity, and we've known it for a long time. If anything, we're just frustrated in the pace it's taking us to kind of be able to go after and avail of that opportunity, and that's the challenge. But there's a lot of, back to your point, there's a lot of thinking and talking about it.
Well, you're Irish, you're going to feel guilty anyway.
We do. We definitely have that guilt going on in lots of ways. But but that's probably just some of the pressure that we put on ourselves as a business. We're very ambitious. I'm lucky. I think we've built a really great team around us, and we know we can do it now. We've spent this year doing a lot of validation. We were at ABA Tech Show earlier on this year, attended a lot of conferences over here as attendees. We've exhibited at ABA Tech Show, and obviously we're at ClioCon today. So what we've been doing is we've built a great relationship with the Clio guys in Dublin. Their EMEA office is in Dublin, so they've been very good to us. Clio, throughout the journey of the last kind of particularly year and a half, they've been really good in terms of talking and getting lots of information and insights about the North American market, so including Canada in that. So we've now, over I guess that last year and a half, we've been planning in parallel to continuing our growth in the UK and our Irish market. We've got about 1 in 4 firms now in Ireland, so growing quite quickly on that side of things, and we entered the UK market about a year and a half, and that's going very well for us. So we've been trying to run that in parallel whilst planning for the US, and I think that's the key. I think if I was advising anyone, I think when you're coming and looking at the US market, it's so big, and it could be overwhelming, so I think you've got to take that time rather than rushing in headstrong, and I've seen people do that, and that hasn't worked out so well.
And I'm sitting here with the U.S. market realizing, okay, in Lawyer's Law, how much more can we push? We're not going to get 100%. And I went over and hung out at Legal Geek, last year. I wish I was there again this year, but all of a sudden you're sitting there and you're going, and then another conference in Amsterdam, and you're going, wow, the United States is a really small legal market compared to the world.
Compared to the globe, yes. But it still is a huge market if you compare it to the UK.
That's right.
Or specific countries within EMEA. I think
the thing that's different about the UK is as soon as you're in the UK, everybody looks at the market as the world, and it was like a mindset that they've been in since they were putting ships in the water and going around and conquering the world. Because of this island, we can't. There's not enough business here. We got to do worldwide commerce. With the United States, people here look at it and say, well, if we have the West or the East or even the United States, we're doing really good.
Well, I think that's right, and I think that learning and that kind of mindset is what I think you get from coming to events like this and understanding and learning these things before you rush into it, and that's very much where our kind of mindset is. We're looking now in January, we'll launch into the US market, and we're looking at basing ourselves most likely out of New York in terms of our kind of base. It's to do with flight time and all of that kind of side of things, and really it's just building partnerships and looking at efficient ways of getting kind of that early market penetration without trying to win it all at once, because we just wouldn't have the funding to do that.
Yeah, and I was just going to ask you about the partnership thing, because the partnership is so key because you don't know the nuances of different markets. I mean, you know the UK and Ireland like the back of your hand. All of a sudden, something strange is going to come up here or there, and you're going to go, I didn't know that this goes on or this goes on. But those partners can help you with that. I mean, Starbucks had their greatest challenge in Germany because it was the one place they decided to go without a partner.
There you go.
And it turned out to be a mess.
That's kind of the theme of this conversation, right? It's just that kind of art of conversation. And it's also being able to put yourself out there and say, look, this is what we do know, this is what we don't know. Can you help us with what we don't know?
Right.
And I think if you do a lot of that, and you do that preparation, and hopefully that will hold us in good stead. So, yeah, no, we're really excited about the opportunity in terms of, as I said, it's such a big market. But I also think, what we've done and what we've been very focused on is we're very product-centric. Over the last couple of years, probably what you're hearing from us is we know we've got the product, we know it's there, we know it's a very scalable proposition, we think it's great, all guys in the organization think that, but yeah, it's a good, strong product. We've got good customer account, great feedback, great customers, and we think we're ready for it now, and I think it's like anything else, not moving too fast.
What would you tell a lawyer, like you, they're practicing in a firm and they've got an itch to do something else, what do you tell them? What do they have to think about, somebody, you're having a pint with somebody and they're saying, I've been at this firm for a few years, I've got an itch, my dad was an entrepreneur, my mom was an entrepreneur, I want to do something else. What would you tell them?
Well, I think I start out with go for it. I think you should always follow your passion. I think that's kind of key, and you hear it repeated every day. But I think you got to know it's going to be hard too. And I think you can't just know it. You've got to go and make sure you understand it, and whatever you need to do that. So I think there's a lot to be said, and people will often advise kind of go, just take the plunge. But I think it's okay to dip your toe in the water too, and really try and understand it. I think, look, I'm an accounts guy, I'm deep in it, but I think very quickly get into the numbers early, and make sure the numbers kind of guide everything that you do. They're the type of things I'd say to people. But I think ultimately I would be saying go for it. I think it's exciting, it's brilliant, and I think if you're in a firm, I think practice of law is brilliant. I think you need to. There's nothing wrong with putting your head above the desk and going, is this the area I want to be in? Maybe it isn't that they're going off to be an entrepreneur. They want to move into a different department or try something different and put themselves out there. But if they're looking at going and becoming an entrepreneur and setting up something, there's so many opportunities out there.
Don't you think the opportunities are getting bigger because the manner in which legal services are delivered, the way they're being run is all changing.
We're only scratching the surface.
So the doors are open to us to invent things that we just see opportunities to do. It's never been as big as this, I don't think.
I think that's exactly it, and I think the thing is that that kind of mindset of that it's going to end, or all the great ideas that be taken up, which I think a lot of lawyers, those kind of risk-averse lawyers that may be sitting there, I think if you are that person, you're looking that way, it probably isn't going to be for you. But I think if you are outward looking and you see all you see is opportunity, I think you're probably right for the gig. I think give it a go. Yeah, no, I think so. But you're right. Like, look, literally, it's only been scratched. Look at Clio. 10 years ago, and now they're talking about being the operating system for legal, and I think they'll do it. And I think it's just mind blowing to think of all of the.
I met Jack in a Starbucks. I'm not sure if it was in the hotel or up the street from where Legal Tech was. He hadn't launched the company yet. He just was out.
Wow.
He was out meeting people.
Yeah.
And he met people that people said were influential or good people to meet.
Sign. I'm glad to hear that.
And seriously,
well, that's what it's all about.
And I arrived in Chicago, a few months later at ABA Tech Show, and I brought two of my team, and I, had a large video camera and a monopod, and I said, let's find some cool people to go interview. And I pointed out different people, and then I run into this Jack Newton guy. I go, I know that guy. I met him in
Starbucks.
Well, he's got a company now. Or he's launched a company. And it was just the two of them, Ryan and Jack, standing there, and white shirts and black ties.
Yeah, I've seen the picture.
Yeah, but their passion was there and their heart was there for the opportunity is there. I really do think Clio is a good place if you have an idea, even if you're still practicing. Just come to this conference and talk to people like yourself, or myself, and just hang out.
That's exactly it. There's a room full of people that are just trying to work it out, and some are at different levels on the journey. But as you say, there's so many people have a conversation. It's just about talking, learning, and taking on board the lessons really, and watching the people who are doing it better than you, and try and learn from them. And
ask them to say, who should I talk to? Go up to Jack and say, what do you think are doing some really cool stuff that I should talk to?
Yeah, 100%. And
talk to Andrew Gay. He's doing all the integrations. What's the cool stuff?
That's exactly it. What's happening out there? Yeah, no, I think that's exactly it. And these guys, that's the thing. And you'll spot the entrepreneur because they'll want to talk to you because they're passionate and they're excited about it, and they'll want to see people kind of kicking off.
Yeah, somebody comes up and says, I heard you're doing great stuff. Could you tell me about it?
How did you do that? Get that sometimes, but no, that's good.
Great to talk with you.
I enjoyed that.
Thank you very much.
Nice to meet you. Thanks.